Hey guys, what's going on? Good morning, good afternoon. I think it's good morning here. It is. I'm gonna just look down and see what time it was. Well, so I did my homework and we are on Proverbs 31. Okay, that's the end of Proverbs. And so what we're getting out of this basically is those last two stories in Proverbs is one because of the way the stories are working, you got tit for tat, right? You got if you do this, you get this, and if you do that, you get this. What's this here on me? Looks like a little paint or something. We'll see what it is. Well, what I'm looking for is to is to show you basically how the code works. That's my job, and also how it fits onto scripture so beautifully that it helps us understand just what it is that we are doing. What are we reading? What is this about? And no one's really done this before. No one has taken apart the Bible in such a way that we can understand it better. And that's been my lifelong dream, is to figure out a better way to read the Bible. And I didn't make it up. It was something that I discovered. So, it's a discovery. It's not my opinion. And just because I could see it and teach it and read it, it's not my creation. It was built into the book. It's called the spiritual side of the word. All right, spiritual side of the Bible. And I've talked about this before. Is that the Bible is a vessel of some kind that is a container of knowledge. It helps us. It's got both sides down. It's got God, in there, and it's got the devil in there, and it's got you and me in there. But and in this book of Proverbs, which is about the knowledge, what we get if we hook up with this female energy or if we hook up with that female energy. And of course, one of those is a higher, meaning mother, and one of those is a lower, which is just woman. All right. So those that we read in scripture also, those that are, God saved, 7,000 of these that were not tainted by woman. It's always by a woman. And so the stories are tit for tat. If you did this, this goes that way. If you do that, this goes this way. So it's the wicked mind versus the righteous mind. Okay, a wicked mind is only working out of the carnal side of our brain and has no knowledge of God. That was the last story that we read, Proverbs 30. Now, Proverbs 31 is four, represents four, the world. Well, this one here is about connecting. So, you get the bad one that we did yesterday, that there's no rising in that group. There's none whatsoever. All right. But on this one, the final stories in Proverbs 31. And remember, these things are based on the method of four. When it comes down to the number system, they're already numbered on their own. And but there are 7 worlds in this group, which brings you all the way to the Lord's day. Is there 7 or is there 8 of them? There's only 7. Okay. So what we get out of this is, the first 4 is going to be the first batch. All right. And then there's the second batch is going to be about God's creation, or you, the body. All right. And 3 is going to be about the intervention. There's 3 about bringing 1 and 2 together. 4 is going to be about the worlds, what she is seeking, how she fixes things, and stuff like that. 5 is going to be about our body. 6 is going to be about the way the works. And 7 is going to be, seventh is the final. It's this idea of the crown chakra business. And so we always know that the 7 is always favored in these because it's supposed to represent God, and God is, it's supposed to be a good thing. And then we'll wind up with 3 leftover scriptures, and I call this the notes, and it's about, this whole thing is about finding a virtuous daughter. How hard is it to find a virtuous daughter? And the whole story is told out of the mouth from a mother. It's a mother that's told this to her king, to her son, all right? And right off the bat, she asks, what? My son? What? The son of my womb? She says, what? Or is it the son of my vow? Remember, the son of my womb would be an outside thing. It's that the son of my vow is a begotten son. Remember, God speaks to us in this language. Begotten means it came from inside. God, when God has a child in you, within you, it's born from the right side of our mind. That's this beautiful child that comes to life when we go into meditation. But when it comes down to, remember that we've had these scriptures, these scriptures before, where, bless the womb that you came out of and the titties that you fed from, and Jesus would say, bless those that have life that did not come from their womb and do not sup from the tits. All right. Because there's an inside thing. When God gives the promised child, it comes to the individual that's on this trip, who takes this journey within himself to seek out mother in the first place. That's where this child comes from. And this child represents what is left of you when you go into meditation. That's why it's a boy. That's why it's a little young man of some kind. Okay. So we find out that this is why this question, runs under number 2. 2 represents you, right? God's creation said, oh, yeah. Oh, are you talking about my son? My son? The one that came from my womb? Or the one that comes from my vows? Because I made a vow with God, that this is how this works, okay? Number 3 on here is, give not strength unto woman, nor in the ways of her that destroys kings. It is not for kings, O Lemieux, which is the guy's name, whatever his name is. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. So, this is because what will happen is everything will fall if you do that. So the second group is the beginning of this will happen. Lest ye drink and forget the law and prefer judgment of any of the afflicted. So we have to remember that we were cursed beforehand, and this changes the affliction. Oh, and it sounds like unless you get drunk and you want to forget your old things and you want to, and you're changing, the affliction, you're oh my goodness, So this is what happens. So 2 is representing, God's creation, is talking about you himself, all right? It says, give strong drink to him that is ready to perish, and wine unto him that have heavy hearts. This is this idea, it's also for those people that are poor, all right? Because let's hand up, because she says later on, we got to say, she reaches out to the poor, she reaches out to the needy. This is not you're being such a nice guy and all, or a nice girl. It's just that, this hand comes to those, that ask for it, that came a knocking. Let him drink to forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb and in the cause of all, such as the appointed to destruction. All those that are appointed to destruction. Falls on number 8. Now, what I want to do is I'd like for this thing to speak for me. You know, we have what I did yesterday. We still have number 3, the word works. 3, and we have the group of 4 and the group of 5, and I want to point them out as we listen. I want you to hear what we got to say. All right, let's do it. The book of Proverbs, chapter 31.
Chapter 31 of Proverbs, King James Version. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Michael Packard. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such that are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good, and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens.
That's beautiful.
She considereth a field, and buyeth it.
Oh, that's this one.
With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretched out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up, and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
And third,
give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. End of chapter 31. End of the...
All right. That was beautiful. They all worked out again. This entire chapter was based on worlds, about worlds, and worlds actually means about the kingdom, and this is now God's kingdom. This is going to be considered God's kingdom. Where you guys at? I can't see it. Come back there. Hello. All right, so what do we get out of this? Proverbs 31 is we get the good side of things. We get, at first, with the first four is representing, a type of instruction. This will be God. This is, she said, it's this prophecy that's told to her son. And we have to say, is it a son? Is this a real son? Or is this the son of her vows? It's the son of her vows. All right. And so she's giving advice to him, and she is saying, and let you give drink and straw and drink to those people that want to forget things. All right. Well, when you actually do drink, that's what you're doing. This here is an argument of many people's kinds is that when you drink of this wine on the outside and you're actually trying to escape your troubles and your problems and stuff like that, this is what that's about. The trouble is that when you wake up from this drunken nightmare, everything is still the same. There's no change whatsoever. But give him strong drink that wants to forget about these things. And that's what this story is about. It's about somebody who goes within themselves and renews themselves. And through this renewing is this all these past and things, you're forgiven of your sins, and plus you have a better eyesight or your past and things become less fearful, or heavy or anything like that. So you've been lifted from all of that. So it's a beautiful thing. So the way this wonderful story goes, I was wanting to see if I met anything, if I saw anything new that would be interesting here in the third set of worlds here. That's 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? That'd be a 9 and a 1, 2, and a 3. All right. These are all good things. It's talking about, it says her on the third one, which would represent the physical side of us. It says that that's number 11. It says the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. All right. So that she will have no need, he will have no need for the spoils. So this is this idea, that you won't have to have the old, you won't have to be a part of the. That's what you do if you're on the religion side, because she's all full up. He's full up now. He's full up now. This dressing people in scarlet, I was trying to look it all up, but this idea about the worm when it has these little babies, it explodes and it splatters them with its blood, it stains them red. That's why she doesn't worry about any of us in the wintertime. She's made us clothes. Our clothes are of scarlet, it's of blood. Blood means she's poured her spirit out on us, and God has poured his spirit, so it's not worried about stuff like that. He's clothed us. She's clothed us. But that was not the one that I was wanting to talk about. It's probably closer. Yeah, where it talks about, because what she's making, houses are clothed in scarlet. That's what I just told you. This staff, here it is. It's in the fifth. It's in our fifth one. It's in the fifth country. So that's the 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right. So we know that as 8, 9, 10, and 11. So the 19th one here, she layeth her hand on the spindle. Represents right here. So this is this idea of weaving, and you remember now this is her job. And we're talking about VOWS, talking about the body, talking about ourselves, the works, or not the works, the body itself. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold of the distaff. All right. So what happens is the one is the piece of wood. It's a long stick, and this is what you twine around. So she's talking about the chakra system. All right. She stretches out her hands for the poor. Yea, she reaches for her hand. She reaches out forth her hands to the needy. Those people that are poor, those of us that are hungry, those that are thirsty, those that are needy. This is what the right side of our brain does for us. This is when you toss your nets over to her side, this beautiful stuff happens. So let's see if there was anything else that was really cool about this. She rises while it's still nighttime. It's about our emotions, and rising and falling and stuff have to do with the moon and water and stuff. It's just really beautiful, guys. All right. He's known at the gates. What do we get out of the whole thing? Give her fruits of her own hands. Give her the fruits of her own hands. This is what we were talking about yesterday when we had the spider. There's a good thing. There's a wise animal out there, and that is that she traps them and eats and does it all with her own hands. She makes the net. She catches what she wants, and then when she catches, she eats it. She takes it on herself. And she didn't have no boss, and that's what they're saying. Okay, so here she gets to eat the fruits of her own hands. And it's just a beautiful thing. It says, and even her husband praises her in the gates. That means the mother and father are being honored. All right. So anyway, tit for tat. This was the one that this is the good side. All right. It's the good side. And it was nice to hear that. All right. All right, you guys. You brave. I hope you're making it over to the other side. No one's talking to you. You guys are awful quiet. And if it's because I got a little ornery with that, what's her face? It's only because she need to get slapping. She's been dishing God too long. All right. I hope the best for her. I really do. If she's gone off on her own. It's a shame because it sounded like she was right there close. She was on the sixth chakra. She was up there. She was listening. But she just cannot. She cannot spit the taste of flesh and blood out of her mouth. That's what that means. Yeah, and you want to think that maybe I might be ornery, a little bit kind of tough. Listen to the way God and Jesus speaks about this. You'll know that you're kidding me. All right, you guys. I love you. I'll see you later.